Hi, welcome or welcome back to my decorating series. We're going back to the 8th floor today for a children's bathroom. Now, I started out with a 10 by 10 because I wasn't sure exactly how big this room was going to end up being. I figured it actually probably would be smaller than a 10 by 10, but until I look at the objects, I wasn't exactly sure. And the other thing I knew about this room was that I was going to go for the Monsters Incorporated stuff because I knew there was really bright objects. I knew there was some fun bathroom stuff. And I figured I probably wouldn't do this kind of bathroom on a different floor. So I had a really good starting point for this space. And it was pretty easy to pick the walls. It was pretty easy to pick the floors. But of course, I wanted to try and look around and see if there was other types of things that I wanted to incorporate in here. And I did get a little repeaty in this room because of the limitations of the kinds of objects, the kinds of lights, the kinds of carpets we have. I did end up repeating some stuff that I have already used on this floor, but it works. So, what are you going to do? That's what we have. So that's what I'm going to use. And now I'm trying to figure out spacing because before I get too involved with the actual decorating, I wanted to figure out exactly how big the room needed to be for the idea of layout that I had. I wanted to make this room a space where at least 2 children could get ready, like brush their teeth and wash their hands and feel like they had their own little space. But I didn't want to do a full, each one of them can kind of have their own bathtub and their own toilet. Like, that didn't seem necessary to me, but I liked the idea of double sinks in here, but I didn't want to do the same kind of double sinks I'd done in the previous bathroom. So I wanted them kind of bookending the door area. And then I also wanted to break up the space. But I wanted to do it different than I had done in the other rooms that I have broken up into spaces. So it's a little bit more symmetrical on the door side of things. And now that we've gotten the spacing down, we can start actually doing a layout and then looking for other objects besides the obvious things. I really wish I'd had some more rug options, but I think the further along I get, the more I'm going to make, that's going to always be a wish for me. Like, I wish we had different colors. I wish we had different options, but, they keep adding stuff to this game. So we'll wait, and I figure we'll eventually go back and revise some of these rooms. I've already found some stuff, and some new stuff has already come out for previous rooms that I know I want to go back and figure out how to add it. Oh, that big wall thing from Peter Pan, I just wanted to see what it looked like, and it's huge, but it's cool, so I gotta figure out where I'm gonna use that. Anyway, windows were a little tricky for this room. I looked at the ones with the short green curtains and then the kind of bluish purple. The bluish purple looked like it matched the Sully spots on the toilet, the fur stuff on the toilet, but I didn't really like how they felt. Like, the vibe wasn't right. So I ended up going with the stained glass window, and I ended up picking the Lion King one just because, I don't know, there was something really bright and cheerful about it, and I liked it. I liked the pirate ship one, or is it just a ship? Anyway, that stained glass window looked cool too, but I really liked the yellow, I think, a lot, and then the sun. It just felt very youthful to me. So I stuck it over there. And here I am still trying to figure out if I can maybe break up the back room, the back space, because it's kind of 2 separate areas. And I struggle a lot with that because the ceiling lights give you a lot of trouble putting stuff underneath of them. None of the partitions worked. A lot of the, plants didn't work. So I think I've already decided by this point that I'm not going to make the back half symmetrical. The front half being symmetrical was fine, but because we have a toilet and a bathtub to work in the back, or work with in the back, it actually makes it really difficult to make other stuff symmetrical around it. So I'm just auditioning stuff, pulling stuff out that seems like it might fit the bathroom, might fit those palm trees I thought might look cool framing the Lion King glass window. Stained glass window. There we go. And you know, just my normal auditioning process, seeing things in the kind of blue and teal color palette, the purple and pink color palette, things I hadn't really thought about. And I do a lot of scrolling and a lot of auditioning in this room again, but yeah, that bioluminescent palm, it's so huge. The pinks and the purples and the blues of it would really go in this room, but it is massive, and I didn't want to have it take up so much real estate. Honestly, I don't even think I could have gotten it in the back area because of the hanging light bulbs. Those colorful glass globe lights, I feel like I'm going to use them everywhere. They fit so many spaces, in my opinion, like my personal opinion and style, that it's going to be tough for me to not want to use them a lot of places. So yeah, this is where I finally am like, okay, these are the things that go in here, and then this is how we're going to deal with the asymmetry of the room. I went ahead and put a radiator in here. I thought it made sense, and I picked the bronze one because of the tops of the sinks and the other half. There's some touches of kind of a warm brown tone, and I wanted to make sure that it was kind of throughout the space and not just like a singular object. So there's like a cream radiator, and it would have worked fine in here, but I don't know, it made it feel like I was tying the spaces together a little bit. And so I decided to go ahead and go with this plant. I really wish the plant wouldn't clip, so I actually had to pull it out of that corner a little bit. It ends up working out in the end, but it was kind of a pain in the butt trying to figure out how to make it look right, but also not clip through the wall or the cabinets. And now we have to go to Scridge's shop because I needed to purchase at least one very specific object. I also looked at the crafting table and the time bending table, but then I ended up not remembering the thing I made at the time bending table. I auditioned it after I stopped filming, and I wouldn't have put it in here anyway, but it was a towel rack that you can make with, like, it's an ancient parts towel rack. Anyway, I didn't end up liking how it looked after I tried it out, but I forgot about it while I was still in decorate mode. Yep, last minute scrolls, normal stuff. Those pillars. I have a love-hate relationship with those pillars. All right, well, let's go inside and check it out. This puts us at 3 out of 4, so 3/4 of the way through the 8th floor, which is pretty exciting. I'm really excited about the last space. This floor has been pretty fun. I've gotten to use a lot of objects that don't really work in a lot of the other spaces I've created, so it was fun getting an excuse to use all of these really bright, really cheerful, really, you know, childlike objects. So I love how these little, you know, twin kind of sink areas are. I love the fact that there's like a pile of dirty laundry and some unkempt laundry baskets. This little bathroom or bathtub area looks cute, and I love these shell bubble things. I don't know, there was a short that was made in the Toy Story universe where Rex has like an out of control bathtub party. There's all kinds of lights and music and all sorts of stuff, too many bubbles, that kind of thing. And this room lit up for night like it is right now with the bubbles and all the glowing stuff just reminds me of that little short film. And I don't really like that the pillars are really dominating, especially when you walk in the room initially, but I love that they glow. I love that they're in the right color palette, and it just, I don't know, I could see being a kid and having a crazy, you know, music, light, bubble fest in here, getting clean. Like, that just seemed like it would be such a blast, especially as a kid. So lots of different objects in this room, an excuse to use some of the Monsters Inc. stuff, and I think it turned out pretty fun. That's it for today's decorating adventure. If you liked this video, a thumbs up is a great way to let me know, and a subscription will keep you up to date on my latest shenanigans. If you want to hang out with me live, I stream on YouTube and Twitch on Thursday evenings and middays on Sunday. I hope you have a lovely day, night, time, wherever you are, whenever you are. And I'll see you next time.
What you think of that?